Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Akila and today I'm going to be taking you through a intermediate to advanced flow. So this is going to be leading into 8-point pose, which is an arm balance, and if you're intimidated by the thumbnail of this video at all, don't worry, it is totally optional to work into that pose, and hopefully I'm going to be priming you and getting you super prepared to give it a try and play with it. So that being said, I don't have any props today, but I do encourage you to have blocks if you enjoy having them in a pyramid pose. We'll be doing pyramid pose today, so if you typically use the blocks for pyramid pose, you can go ahead and grab those now. And we'll go ahead and get started in a child's pose whenever you're ready. So knees come mat width distance. Forehead can drop to the mat. Front of the chest falls heavy towards the floor. Just starting to lengthen the breath here. Allowing the hips to fall towards the heels. Feeling a gentle opening in the low back. And letting the spine elongate here. Maybe you walk the fingertips a little bit further forward and traction the chest and forehead slightly forward. Really try and make the inhales and exhales of equal length and value here. We'll take one more deep breath in together, filling up the lungs, feeling the ribs expand in all directions, feeling the belly fill, and exhale, let it release. I encourage you to keep the lips sealed on the inhales and exhales, tapping into your Ujjayi breath, in and out through the nose. And the next time you inhale, you're going to pull into the palms of the hands. Take the chest forward and lift up into a tabletop position. Knees are under the hips, wrists under the shoulders. And from here, we're going to take a few wrist warm-ups. So first, we're going to raise the palms of the hands from the floor while keeping the knuckles to the floor. So just these little wrist push-ups. So we press, lifting the palms, and then lower them down on the exhale. Inhale, lift the palms. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 2 more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last one. Inhale, hold for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, lower. And then just take a few gentle rocks forward and back. You can tuck the toes if this feels nice. Getting a little stretch into the bottom of the feet. Just a few rocks forward and back. Try and coordinate. Inhales bring you forward. Exhales bring you back. And we're getting a gentle stretch into the wrists. Here, getting ready to bear weight on the wrists. One more time. Inhale, push forward. Exhale, hips sit to heels, and then inhale, pull forward one last time. Exhale, this time we lift the hips up and back, finding a downward facing dog. You can pedal into the feet if you'd like to. Really prioritizing the lengthening of the spine here, so any amount that you need to bend into the knees to really send the hips up and back. I will say this in every class, that it's okay to bend your knees in down dog. Next time you inhale, you can float the right leg up and back, finding a 3-legged dog. Lots of energy through the ball of the right foot. Shoulders stay square to the mat. And exhale, pull the knee into the chest. See if you can step the foot through between the hands and drop the back knee, coming up for a low crescent lunge. Arms can reach up. I'm going to inhale here deeply through the nose. And as we exhale, sit the hips back, straighten into the front leg any amount. Coming into a half split here. And what I'd like you to try is to take a windshield wiper with that front foot. So the pinky toe edge of the foot comes to the mat, and then the big toe edge of the foot comes to the mat. So we're really exploring different areas of the hamstring here. Just starting to open up into the backs of the legs. And it's okay for your hips to shift a little side to side here. We're just getting started, so residual movement up the rest of the leg is normal. And next time you inhale, pull yourself back forward, rebending into the right knee. Lift the left knee from the mat. And then just straighten into the right leg as you walk your fingertips along the left edge of your mat. And come all the way to the back. Bending into the knee to plant the hands, step it up and back for downward facing dog. Again, you can pedal into the feet here if you'd like to. And then find a settle on your next exhale. Inhale takes the left toes up and back for your three-legged dog. Lots of energy through the toes here. And exhale, pulls the left knee into the chest, step the foot through. Dropping that back knee to find your low crescent lunge. Option to lift the arms here if you'd like to. Inhaling here. And as you exhale, backing the hips up, straightening any amount into the front leg, flexing the front foot, and then you can take those windshield wipers in your half split. I may have said half moon earlier. I meant half split, if I did. And just a few in each direction. Take it at your own pace, whatever feels good. And then the next time you inhale, rebend into the left leg, lift the right knee from the mat, and then walk the fingertips over along the left edge of your mat. Coming back. Plant the hands on either side of the front foot and step it back, finding a downward facing dog. Deep hinge in the hips here. Think about sending your tailbone up towards the ceiling. Next time you inhale, look forward between the hands. Come up onto the balls of the feet and bend into the knees. And then step or walk the feet to the top of the mat, finding a forward fold. Letting the chest hang down heavy. Inhale, pull the chest forward. Find a little bit of length in the spine here. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, roll all the way up to stand. Reach the arms up overhead. And exhale, take the arms down by the sides, finding Tadasana. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, folding over the legs. Hips raise, head drops. Inhale, lengthen the spine to look forward. And exhale, bending any amount in the knees that you need to plant the hands to the floor. Step the feet back into a plank. And hold here for a moment, checking in with the alignment of your plank. So we want to imagine the fronts of the hips lifting up and a straight line of energy from the top of your head down the back, all the way down the backs of the legs, through the heels. One more inhale here. On the exhale, lowering down to the belly. Slow and with control. Inhale, untuck the toes to lift the chest forward, finding a baby cobra. Exhale, lower the chest. Tuck the toes, push through your tabletop position to start, and then lift the hips up and back, finding a downward facing dog. Inhaling deeply here. Exhale, settle into the pose. If you need any little movements here, it's still fairly early in class, feel free to take them. Next time you inhale, look forward between the hands, come up onto the balls, the feet bend into the knees. Either take your steps or you can take a little hop, finding your forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale, we rebound, pull the chest forward for a halfway lift. And exhale, release over the legs to fold. Inhale, rolling all the way up to stand, arms reach up overhead. And exhale, arms by the sides, Tadasana. One more time, inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine, ripple through. Exhale, bend the knees to plant the hands. This time, if you'd like to, you can either take your step back as we did before, lowering through the push-up, or you can float back. Just make sure if you float back, you land with the elbows bent in your chaturanga. Inhale, pull through to a back bend of your choice. So it can be the baby cobra we did at the beginning, or you can come to up dog with the thighs lifted. And exhale, take the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Inhaling deeply here. And exhale, we settle. One more time through our sun A. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend into the knees. Step or float your way to your forward fold. Inhale, rebound to find a flat back. Sternum, center point of the chest pulls forward towards the front of the room. And exhale, we fold. Inhale rolls you all the way up to stand, arms reach out and up overhead. Exhale, arms by the sides, Tadasana. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, rebound to a flat back. And exhale, bend into the knees, plant the hands. Step your way or float your way back through your plank, through your chaturanga. And then inhale to pull through to any back bend of your choice. And then the exhale takes you up and back to your downward facing dog. Next time you inhale, take the right leg up and back for three-legged dog. Lots of energy through that foot. Feel a line from the crown of your head through to the ball of your right foot. Exhale, bend the knee, pull the knee into the right elbow, and step the right foot outside of the right hand. Finding a lizard lunge here. So hips are dropping as much as you can. Chest is pulling forward as much as you can. We take an inhale here. This might be where you want your blocks. Exhale, we straighten any amount into the right leg, coming into your pyramid pose. Inhale, bend into the front knee. This time, maybe you can snuggle the right shoulder underneath of the thigh of the right leg. This is optional. One more inhale here. And exhale, straighten any amount, keeping the shoulder snuggled if you can. Next, inhale, rebends into the front leg. And we take the arms up, finding a crescent lunge. So really sending the back of the left knee up towards the ceiling as much as you can. Trying to pull the hip bones up and forward. One more breath here. Inhaling deeply. And on your exhale, you're going to shift the weight forward into the right foot. So much so that you can float the left leg up, and we're going to stand up onto the right leg, take the left knee into the chest. You can interlace the fingers around that knee, give it a little stretch. One more breath here. And as you exhale, crossing the left leg over the right, coming into eagle legs. If you have it in your practice to wrap that foot around the back of the right calf, you can. And we're going to interlace the arms So left arm comes underneath of the right. And here, we want to think about pulling the elbows up and sinking the hips down. Just a few breaths here. Final inhale here. And exhale, unravel the legs, unravel the arms. With control, we bend into the right knee. Step the left foot to the back of the mat, finding our way back into our lizard lunge. Hands to the inside of the right foot. Inhaling here. On the exhale, we pivot the hips, readjust the feet so that the left toes are facing up towards the ceiling. And your right foot is pointing to the top corner of the left edge of your mat. Coming into a Skandasana. You may not be this low in your Skandasana. It can look something like this. It can look something like with the blocks under the hands. Wherever you are, straightening into the right leg, walking the hands along the edge of the mat, making your way to the back of your mat. Hands frame the front foot, and we step back, finding a downward facing dog. Option to take a vinyasa here, so you can roll forward from the base of the spine, coming forward into your plank pose. Exhale, lower through chaturanga. Inhale, baby cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Taking a pedal into the feet if you'd like to. Next inhale takes the left leg up and back for three-legged dog. Exhale, bend into the knee. Pull the left knee into the left elbow and step the foot outside of the hand. Coming into a lizard lunge. Your inhale will pull the chest forward here. Exhale, straighten into both legs and back the hips up, finding a pyramid. Inhale, rebend into the front knee. Option here to snuggle the left shoulder underneath of the left thigh. And exhale, back the hips up. Option to keep that shoulder underneath. Inhale, rebend into the front knee. We lift the torso up, finding your crescent lunge. Again, check in with your alignment here. Back knee pulls up towards the ceiling, really straightening into that back leg, engaging. Fronts of the hip bones lift up as much as you can. Inhaling here. The exhale takes the weight forward into the left leg. Right knee pulls into the chest. Hands can interlace around that right knee. And pull it up into the chest. Try and find a little bit of regulation in the breath if it's gotten a bit hectic here. Inhaling deeply. And on the exhale, crossing the right leg over the left, finding the eagle legs. This time, right arm crosses underneath. If this full bind with the arms is too much, you can always grab onto the shoulders or onto the elbows. Wherever you are, inhale pulls the chest up. Exhale tries to sink the hips a little lower. And one more breath here. And on the exhale, we unravel the arms and legs, stepping the foot back with control, finding your low lunge. Inhale here. And exhale, we pivot the hips, coming into our Skandasana. So the right toes point up towards the ceiling. Deep bend into the left leg, as deep as you can make it. Hands could come to heart, or they can come to the floor in front of you for balance. They could come to blocks if you're higher up. One more inhale here. And exhale, we walk our way back to the original top of the mat. Plant the hands to either side of the front foot, step it back, finding a downward facing dog. Optional vinyasa. Inhale takes you forward to roll through to your plank. Exhale, lower from the knees or toes, chaturanga. Inhale pulls you through to your back bend. And the exhale takes the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Let's drop the knees for a moment and come into a child's pose. You can take the hands by the sides as well if you'd like to. Just taking a brief moment here. Check in with your breath. And allow yourself to release completely, surrendering to the support of the floor. And the next time you inhale, you can walk yourself up to the shins. And we're just gonna take a few different options for our playtime. So the first option, you may wanna have your blocks here. If you have the blocks, you would plant them next to the shins. So the first option for play is a variation on low lasana. So this is gonna be a lot of strengthening for the core. So here, you either press your hands into the blocks or the floor, so much so that you can pull the belly into the spine and lift the knees from the mat. So you can coordinate it with the breath. Inhale as you drop the knees, and exhale, push to lift. Inhale to drop. Exhale, push to lift. 2 more. Inhale, drop. Exhale, push to lift. Inhale, drop. Exhale, push to lift. Now, next variation we're gonna do, you have the option to either hold in the position we just did, so that lifted position with the knees, the back is curling in, the core is pulling into the spine, really rounding into the back and getting that engagement in the core that we want for this particular arm balance. Or when you're up, exhale to lift, you have the option to lift one foot, then the other, or if you feel ready, you can lift both feet. So we'll take a few moments to practice that. So I'll cue it 3 times, and you can get on or off the train whenever you like, or you can just say, screw it, I don't want to do that, and do a child's pose instead. It's totally up to you. So inhale, the knees are on the ground. Exhale, we lift the knees for 3, 2, maybe 1 or both feet lift, 1, and lower down. You can take a little wrist circle in between sets. Inhaling deeply here, fill up the lungs, shoulders raised towards the ears. Exhale, let it release. Inhale, set up for the next one. Exhale to lift knees or feet or both. 3, 2, 1. Let it release. Inhale, fill up the lungs, shoulders raised, wrist circle. Exhale, let it release. We'll go one more time. Inhale to set up the hands. Exhale to press and lift for 3, 2, 1, and lower. Deep inhale. Exhale, hands can come to the thighs, maybe eyes closed for a moment. Start to bring the breath back to a steady pace if it's become quick. And next, I'm gonna take us into some play with 8-point pose. So, I'll show it this direction. I think it's a little bit easier to see. You're gonna take your left leg first, pull the left knee in towards the left shoulder, similar to what we were doing before. We're gonna snuggle the shoulder underneath of the thigh. So option 1, right leg can extend straight out in front of you, and you can use the hands to press the hips up. That's option 1. The more you can get your shoulders snuggled into the back of the left knee, the easier this pose is going to be. Option 2, if you feel comfortable with that first option of lifting, you can cross the ankles and pull the chest forward towards the floor. So we're making a bit of a shelf on the back of the left forearm. Not forearm, sorry, bicep. Tricep. Anatomy is hard when you're in an arm balance. So you're making a shelf on the back of your left tricep that you can rest your inner left knee on. So we'll try that one more time on this side, and then I'll give you some time to practice it on the other side. So again, taking any of these variations, or you can start to take rest. If you're done with all this, you can take any other arm balances that you're working on, if you prefer. So again, cross the legs if you have it, and pull the chest forward towards the floor. So the good thing about these arm balances is that you're very close to the floor. So if you do take a tumble, you're not very far from the floor. So take those same options on the other side, snuggling the right shoulder underneath. Maybe lift into this elephant trunk variation, or you can cross the ankles and take it forward. And basically you come out of it by just sitting down. So any variation that you'd like to. We're going to take it one more time on this right side, and then we're going to start to slow things down. So if you have a crow pose that you've been working on, you can always work on your crow pose here as well. And making sure here that we want to try and keep the shoulders as square to the floor as we possibly can, rather than sinking one shoulder. We want to try and keep it symmetrical in the shoulders, even though nothing on the bottom is symmetrical at all there. So if you'd like to pause the video, you can if you want more time to work on those. But when you're ready, we're going to come to the back. Head rests down onto the floor. And take a little windshield wiper with the knees side to side. And we've done a lot of rounding forward today, so we are going to do a bit of a counter pose here. I'm going to do a back bend. I'm going to start by cueing you into bridge. So you plant the feet about hip width distance, and if you can, you'd like to try and aim to tickle your heels with your fingertips. That's a good gauge for distance. And plant the hands into the floor on either side of you. Press into the heels and lift the hips from the floor. Coming into a bridge pose here. Opening into the fronts of the hips, really squeezing into the glutes. And you can play with pulling the heels in towards the shoulders. It might help you get a little bit of extra lift. One more inhale here. And exhale, we lower the hips down. I'm going to cue this one more time. And if you have wheel in your practice, you're more than welcome to take wheel as well. So on the inhale, pull the heels in towards the shoulders. Lift the hips up. Feeling the engagement of the glutes here to assist you in lifting your hips up. And you can either stay here or you can plant the hands next to the ears, fingertips face towards the shoulders, and press into your full wheel. Again, all the same things apply here. So we want to glue the heels to the floor. Squeeze into the glutes and press firmly into the hands. One more breath here. And exhale, lower either from your bridge or your wheel. And take the knees into the chest. And starting to slow things down. Next time you inhale, cross the left ankle over the right thigh, coming into a figure four. So the foot can stay planted here, the right foot. Or you can pull that stack of the legs up into the chest. Maybe interlace around the hamstring or the shin of the right leg. Inhaling deeply here. And exhale, maybe you feel a little bit of extra opening into the outer left hip. More inhale here. Exhale, release the right leg if you have it. Right foot comes back to plant. You're going to press into the right foot to shift the hips slightly over to the left side of the mat. And then you can cross that left leg over so you're in your eagle legs again, as we were earlier in class. And then take that stack of the eagle legs over to the right, taking the gaze over towards the left fingertips. Really elongating the breath here. One more inhale. Nice long exhale. Bring that stack of the legs through the center. Readjust the hips as you need to cross the right leg over, finding that figure four on the second side. Again, if you're feeling enough of a stretch in the outer right hip here, you don't need to lift the left foot from the floor. You can also just take a gentle press onto your inner right knee here. Or you can take that stack of the legs up and in towards the chest. Maybe take the hands around the back of the left hamstring or the front of the left shin. Next inhale, try and fill up as much as you possibly can, more than you've filled up for the rest of class. And exhale, we stay. Maybe you find a little bit of extra space in the pose. Inhaling deeply through the nose. Exhale, maybe find additional space in that right hip. And really allowing your back to fall heavy into the floor. And the next time you exhale, just drop the left foot back to the floor. Press into the left foot to shift the hips slightly over to the right side of the mat. And let the legs cross over completely, coming into those eagle legs. And then take that whole stack of the legs to fall over into your twist, so knees fall to the left side of your mat. And the gaze comes over to the right fingertips here. Inhaling deeply through the nose, filling up all of the spaces in the body with oxygen. And as you exhale, maybe you find a little bit more of a corkscrew into the twist. Just a few breaths here. Really allowing yourself to fall heavy into the floor. Letting the hips feel the support of the mat below you. Next time you inhale, take the knees back through the center, unravel the legs, hug the knees into the chest. Maybe the nose comes to the knees here. Inhale one more time. And exhale, you have the option here to find happy baby pose if you'd like to. So bending into the knees, finding the hands to the outer edges of the feet, and you pull the knees down towards the shoulders. Soles of the feet are facing up towards the ceiling. And if you find yourself rounding and the hips are lifting, maybe you just hold the backs of the thighs instead, so that you don't have to have so much compression in the fronts of the hips. This is a really deep stretch, so be patient with yourself. Also, if you're newer to yoga, this pose can feel pretty awkward at first. But just know that nobody's watching you right now. If it feels good to be in this pose, then just stay here. Option to take one more breath here. And exhale, you can release the legs. Finding your final resting pose, Shavasana. So if a traditional Shavasana is not very restful for you, you can feel free to take any other pose that you'd like to. You can take a seated meditation or a child's pose if you feel less vulnerable with your chest towards the floor. And I encourage you to stay here for as long as you'd like. But for today, I'm just going to end the video here and let you rest in your Shavasana for as long as you'd like to. So thank you so much for joining me for class today. And if you liked this class, please do subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any more of my classes. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful rest of your day.